I'm 8 years old, and my parents take me to see the movie Some Like It Hot, starring Marilyn Monroe. It's a fancy theater with plush red seats and an enormous screen. We're in the very front row, high in the balcony, way over the orchestra. A thick, shiny brass railing protects us from falling onto the people below. Marilyn is singing, "I'm through with love, I'll never fall again," through her pouted lips. And as she enunciates her words, I can see her breasts through her sheer, tightly fitting gown. I'm standing up, gripping the bar, leaning all the way over, as far as I can, trying to climb into the movie, trying to immerse myself in Marilyn Monroe's breasts. I hear my mother whispering, calling to my father, "Psst, Sid, Sid, what's going on with Judy?" Well, I'm attracted to girls ever since I can remember, and I feel strange, not at home in my girl's body. I'm 10 years old, and I stand naked in front of the mirror, looking at the me in the mirror and wondering why the me looking back at me isn't the me I feel inside. It's the 1950s. I'm an athlete. I play softball, volleyball, and I even have my own football uniform. Shoulder pads, knee guards, the whole 9 yards. I play with the boys on the street, but I feel different from the other girls. Maybe it's because I'm what they call a tomboy. I excel at sports. I'm not supposed to beat the other boys. Instead, they tell me I'm supposed to pretend to lose. Mostly I wear boys' clothes. I feel really uncomfortable in dresses. When I get together with my best friends Maggie and Debbie, we play the TV show Dennis the Menace. I'm always assigned the role as the father. Sure, my brother, a representative for child actors, gets me to pose in dresses sometimes, but I dread feminine clothes. No one in my whole summer community has ever seen me in a dress, until one day my mother tells me that I must wear a dress to an event in the big auditorium. She makes a big pile of dresses on my bed and tells me that I have to choose one. I cry and I plead, but she insists. I walk into the back of the auditorium wearing like a slightly frilly yellow cotton dress, and everyone turns around to look at me. And they stand up, and they start clapping. I'm horrified. I'm 11 years old. I get my period. I come out of the bathroom and pull my pants down to show my mom the blood. In keeping with this strange, Jewish, weird tradition, she gives me a patch on the tuchus and says, "Now you are a woman." I don't want to be a woman. I go up to the attic. I pull out my old football uniform. The thick white laces and padded front squares off my hips. And as I strap on the shoulder pads and don my lucky number 11 t-shirt, my shoulders are Atlas. I'm 11 years old and I'm in trouble, mainly because I'm what my friends call a leslie. At least, well, that's what I think I am. I've been in love with Judy from summer camp ever since I can remember, and I know I'm not supposed to be. I've never seen or met a leslie, but I know it's a word that means I want something nasty and bad and something that should not exist. I wonder, am I just a tomboy or a leslie? Or even worse, have I been born in the wrong body? I feel different because I have this overwhelming desire to touch other girls. There's no information or education about sexual orientation or gender identity when I reach puberty. I have no one to talk to, no role models. It's totally confusing. There's no such thing as the internet. I can't just Google it. The only place I even see the word lesbian is in the dictionary. It's 1962 in suburban New Jersey, There are no lessies on TV or books or movies, except when the children's hour comes on late night TV. I watch as Shirley MacLaine confesses her secret love to Audrey Hepburn and then hangs herself afterwards. You see the picture of just Audrey's face as she's watching into the doorway, and then you see the shadow of Shirley's body swinging back and forth slowly as the creaking sound of the noose around her neck. That's the only solution, it seems. My dad is a kibitzer, a jokester. He likes telling off-color jokes. My mother never gets them, but I do, even though I'm a little girl. He looks right past my mom and at me with a glint in his eye and a big grin, and I feel special and uncomfortable at the same time. My dad is virile, handsome, sexy, a snappy dresser, very aware of his charisma. He worked hard in his butcher shop to push the family out of poverty into the upper middle class. Women flirt with him in his shop, and he flirts back. Who knows how many affairs he's having? As far as the eye can see, the back wall of his shop is plastered with Playboy pinups of beautiful, naked women. I sneak back to this long, narrow hallway, and they're on there from beginning to end, and I just gaze. One of my household chores is gathering laundry. The smell of his dirty clothes repulses me. I hate him because he's distant, often denies my feelings, and he's usually out, rarely showing any interest in me. And he beats me with a belt when I talk back. I try to persuade my mother to divorce him. I'm attracted, repulsed. I fantasize nightly about killing him with the big black-handled dagger that is in the kitchen drawer. I've got it all figured out. I'm going to do it before I 13, just before I turn 13, so they won't charge me as an adult. I think about going down to get that black-handled dagger at night when I lay in my bed, and at the same time, I fantasize about having sex with him. He's so attractive, so virile. I put it all together. I think about him fucking me and me stabbing him at the same time. It's fucked up, I know. I'm in 8th grade, and I'm told that in high school I have to change clothes in front of all the other girls in gym class. Every day I sit at my desk and I pray before high school I'll die. I try to slit my wrists, only making a very small mark. My prayers and suicide attempt don't work, I don't die. When the dreaded gym class comes, I make a mad dash to a tiny little cubicle where I can change sight unseen. My friends are all around me, standing there, pointing at me, laughing, mocking. I'm shocked. But there's a voice that comes inside my head, and it says, if you sit down now, if you stop dancing, you may never get up to dance again. And so I ignore their mockery and I keep dancing. I'm 13 years old. I'm at a sleepover party at my friend Trudy's with a group of friends. Trudy is beautiful, feminine, blonde, with silky hair. We're all in sleeping bags, huddled close. It's dark and it's late. I reach out secretly and I touch her fingers. And to my surprise and delight, I feel the tips of her fingers pressing back against mine. Then I visit her when she's babysitting. While the child sleeps upstairs, we make out on the sofa. I reach up under her bra, and for the first time, I feel the round softness of a girl's breasts. She stops us to go for a drink, and when she returns from the kitchen, I walk slowly towards her. And she stops in the doorway and puts her hands up on a chin-up bar, breasts arched high. I reach my hands down her pants, cupping her butt and massaging her clit through her underwear. Carefully, I watch her reactions. She throws her head back. In ecstasy and orgasms, she falls limp off the chin-up bar into my arms, and I carry her to the couch. The incredible intensity of this erotic experience just blows me away. I visit Trudy a couple days later. Sitting close in her bed together in our underwear, once again, I make her come through her sticky underwear. Her aroma, it's intoxicating. I feel good. I feel good with her, like we're girlfriends. Afterwards, we take a walk around her neighborhood, walking down a big street, and we're close, but not touching. Then, as we go down this busy, really steep hill, she slows down really slow, and I say, why? And she tells me, it's so the boys driving by in the cars can see us. I realized that what just happened between us inside meant nothing to her, that my actions and feelings are inconsequential, that I am nothing. I write about my feelings in poetry. Why do I deserve this fate of hard, dark wall and iron gate? These aren't feelings that anyone I know talks about, and they aren't feelings I would ever admit. I'm 14 years old and I'm in love with Elaine, one of my best friends. I want to throw her a wonderful birthday party. My parents say okay, but after I have everything planned, they change their minds and tell me no. Devastated, I go into the kitchen and I grab the black-handled dagger out of the drawer. I run down to the basement, decorated for Elaine's party, and fall on my knees, sobbing. I try as hard as I can to stab myself in the gut, but I can't do it. Every time I look up at the night sky, I wish upon a star. Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. Wish I may, wish I might have this wish I wish tonight. I wish I was no longer a lesbian. But, my best friend Debbie always says, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. She's right. Try as hard as I might, I can't change. I'm 15 and Mrs. Brooke is so beautiful. I'm crazy in love with her. She has fair, delicately freckled skin, blue eyes, a full mouth, and a sweet disposition. And she's a really good high school teacher, too. I stand in front of her desk one day, gazing down at the delicate, sparkling strands of her golden wheat hair. I am so taken by her beauty. As her baby blues turn up to look at me, I brazenly blurt out, "What's your husband have that I don't?" She looks at me like I have two heads. He's my husband. The school sends me to a social worker. She asks me general questions like, how's school going, and do you have any friends? But she's acting kind of stiff, nervous, like she's leading up to something. I can feel she's uncomfortable. What do you want to do to other girls, she asks, like her mouth is holding back vomit. I feel embarrassed, degraded. I hate myself. I don't remember my answer. All I remember is the terrible feeling that everything about me is wrong. At 16, I fall in love with Peter. He's handsome and tough, with knife scars from fights, but he treats me really nice. But even though Peter is sweet, and I am in love with him, I have to be with a girl. I'm sexually assertive and simultaneously suicidal. I can't stand the pain of not having sex with a girl and not being loved. It just hurts too much. I leave Peter for Maddie. She's a friend. We have sex. But I'm not in love with her. One day I buy Maddie a new bra. Nothing fancy, not romantic, just like a plain white bra because she needs one and I've got some extra money. Her sister finds the bra and shows it to her father. He goes ballistic. He storms into my father's butcher shop and in front of all the customers declares that if Judy doesn't stay away from his daughter, I will put her in a house of detention. I'm terrified because I know that that man means business. So I lie. I don't know what he's talking about. My parents send me to a psychiatrist who tells me I can beat this. I had a boyfriend, and I've had other boyfriends. This proves I like boys, and if I try hard enough, I can stop wanting girls. I have a dream about riding a big stallion that rears up on its hind legs, but manages to stay in the saddle and retain control. The psychiatrist tells me that the dream means that I can conquer my urges towards girls. So I see the psychiatrist once a week on Wednesdays right after school. Each week he convinces me that I can go straight. On Thursday and Friday, I feel strong, and I stay away from Maddie. But eventually, I can't stand it. I'm too horny. Late Saturday night comes, and Maddie and I get in my car to make out at our usual spot, where no one will ever find us. Right behind the police station. I'm getting dressed at my locker, changed for my first day of freshman gym class. But before this happens, eventually, I can't stand it, right? This goes on until I leave for college at George Washington University in DC. As my hand is on the old brass-handled doorknob, as I leave for my last appointment before college, my psychiatrist calls out to my back, "Don't make any friends." I'm at my locker getting changed for the first day of freshman gym class. I turn around, and there she is. Dark, soulful eyes, lovely skin, beautiful long brown hair, smiling. We become immediate friends. I follow Lori to her dorm room, and inside, there's a big sign hanging from the ceiling with one word in large black letters. Guilty? A shiver runs through my spine. I need to touch, to be held. I need a girl to speak to me softly, to look deeply into my eyes, someone to kiss. I pursue Lori. We fall in love. Lori is very deep and moody, but also lots of fun, passionate, and we're both passionate. And being secretive makes it even more exciting because we have to make love as quietly as possible because we're doing it on the top bunk of my double-decker bed above my college roommate. I don't know how I think we can get away with this. Maybe I think it's like being behind the police station, so obvious that no one will ever look. I have lots of other friends in the dorm. Everybody knows me, and as I walk down the hallway, they greet me with a friendly, "Hey." Well, one day I'm walking down the hallway in the dorm, and a girl I know walks towards me and turns her head away. And then another, and another. And then when I get on the elevator, all the other girls get off. Lori says the same things are happening to her. So we do some research. We decide and find out about the progressive Antioch College in Ohio, and it has a tiny sister school in Baltimore, not too far away. We visit small classes, students who have a big say in what's happening at the school, and there are no grades. Yes. So we go to Antioch. On one of the first days of class, we're in a big group therapy session, and there's about 50 students. I'm nervous. The leader stands in the middle of the circle, a tall, commanding black man with a booming voice. What if he calls on me? What am I supposed to say? I know why I'm here, but I can't say that out loud. He turns on his heels and he points right at me. "Why are you here?" Because I'm attracted to girls. I barely get the words out of my mouth. I have my head down because I can't look at anyone. I really want to be totally invisible. I hear a chorus of female voices calling out, matter-of-factly, "Well, I am too. Me too, so am I." I have never heard anything like this before. Out loud, in front of a whole group of people. That moment, those women's voices, these were the voices of the first community of people to treat me and my lover like any other couple, like just, me and Lori, like any other couple, like people, like human beings. At Antioch, I'm a typical baby dyke. Leather jacket, motorcycle, big dog. Lori and I live together in a great big house in the country with 7 other people. We are crazy in love, and it's lasting. I'm so happy I get to be with my lover whenever I want. We sit outside at dusk, watching the sun slowly set. Lori sits in an old metal chair, snuggling my little Great Dane puppy as we listen to the sounds of the night roll in. Crickets, frogs, trains rolling by. For the first time, and unlike my childhood home, home feels relaxed and peaceful. It's wonderful. Lori's homophobic mother controls the purse strings. While I'm at Boston University taking summer classes, she tells Lori it's either me or college. Lori leaves me. My bliss is destroyed. I lose it. I think Lori visits me up in Boston, but I can't remember if she's really with me or not. I start disassociating. I really can't tell what's real and what isn't. My parents have to drive from New Jersey to Boston to take me home. My father, in his usual state of total denial, turns around at a red light and says to me, "There's nothing wrong with you." Via a school program, I find a therapist and participate in Gestalt therapy. It's a group, and we do what's called hot seat work. An additional empty chair is used to imagine, for instance, the presence of a lover or part of ourselves we don't like. Sometimes we worked on dreams. It's all about having a dialogue and learning from the parts to make a whole. As I switch back and forth between the seats, the other members of the therapy group get a kick out of how I change switching chairs. And I like pretending, and they encourage me to study acting. I'm in my late 20s in Washington, D.C., and I begin to study theater. One skit I perform as part of this little troupe is called The Homemaker and the Dyke. I need to wear a dress as the homemaker. I can barely make myself do it, and I start to cry when I put on the dress. We're directed to switch parts. I experience both, homemaker, dyke, back and forth. Homemaker, dyke, what? Wow. I can become whatever I want, whenever I want. Fluidity. I get the lead in a play. My character is a prisoner, a traumatized incest survivor, a really tough, angry young woman. She tries to commit suicide by stabbing herself in the chest with a fork. And for the first time, I discover that I can use my own life experience in the service of art. That translates into me feeling more comfortable inhabiting my own skin, loving myself. It's 1985 in DC, and I've been with my new lover for 8 years now. She's vibrant, creative, gorgeous, and really difficult. We founded a theater together. I devote my body, mind, and soul, working most of the time to support the theater. And in the process, I discover that I'm an artist, I'm a producer, and that I have something to offer the world. But she's miserable where we are. DC is too provincial. The coffee shops are too provincial. The people are too provincial. It's all government. She's depressed and never gets out of bed. She needs New York City. It's where she always wanted to be. So one day, I pull her out of bed, I pack her bags, and I send her to the Big Apple. She travels back and forth between DC and New York City for a while, but it's not long till she falls in love with a man in New York City, and she breaks up with me. The theater is in jeopardy of closing. I've lost my art, my workplace, my career, my identity, and my lover. One day I go to her apartment and I call up to her window. Her new boyfriend sticks his naked body out the window to see who's there, and the shock of seeing that sends me into a tailspin. I drag myself home sobbing. In the bathroom, toilet seat, white, just step up. Bare feet. Oh, okay, rock, okay, get steady, just get steady. Where's the rope? Okay, just do it. There's no reason to stay alive, none. I have lost everything. Fuck her, that bitch. Throw it over the pipe. The pipe has peeling paint. Is it gonna hold? Just do it. Throw it over. I can't even fucking kill myself. Look at this shit. Jesus. All right, here we go. Fuck her. Fuck that bitch. Fuck everybody. Fuck myself. I hope she finds me dangling here. I hope I look really grotesque. No, beautiful. I hope I look beautiful. She'll be sorry. She'll cry for weeks realizing how much she hurt me. There won't be anybody else for me ever. No, she's so beautiful. No one will ever be as creative. Nothing, no one. My whole career, no love, never again. That bastard with his big, thick biceps, massive chest. How can I compete? I can't. Okay, the ropes are on my neck. Just tighten it tight. Okay, this is it. Okay, just do it. Okay, just do it. Just step off. 1, 2. Whoa. What is that I see? I'm sobbing over a dead body. I'm looking at a little girl, a little 14-year-old girl. I'm looking at, is that my future self? Is that my next life? Is that what's going to happen to me? if I have a girl and she's going to kill herself at 14? That's worse. That's much worse. Okay. Just get down. Oh, shit. It's fucking tight, this motherfucker. Okay. Sweaty. Okay. That was a portal. That was no dream. That was a vision. Okay, just climb down. Get off. Get off the toilet. Okay. That was worse. That would be much worse than a breakup. But what do I do now? You fucked up. You did everything wrong. It is all your fault. No. She hurt you. She abused you. She didn't appreciate you. You worked your ass off day and night. And for what? She's leaving you for that alcoholic sex addict? You'll never compete. His arms are the size of your legs. No. I look, you were so loving and so dedicated. You did everything anyone could do. You gave her everything. 8 years, for God's sake. Well, that fucking fuck. Look, this has been all night. I know, I'm also extremely exhausted. Okay, how about I'll meet you here tomorrow night, okay? Can we just agree we'll start again tomorrow night like we did the last 3 nights? Okay. I'll if you'll stay alive. If you'll stay alive. Okay. It's the mid-90s, and I attend my even newer partner's graduation for her MSW at Smith in Northampton. We've been together for 8 years now. Miraculous. She's smart and beautiful and compassionate and grounded, and she makes amazingly delicious chocolate pudding. We've worked hard through lots of conflicts and with lots of love, but even more patience on her part. We've grown a beautiful relationship. But even though we've been together for 8 years, her father still won't call our home in New York City because he does not want to hear my voice, my female voice, answer the phone. I've never been invited to a single family gathering. We're at dinner after the graduation ceremony. I'm sitting across from her partner's father, my partner's father, who I have never seen before, and next to my girlfriend's classmate, who none of the rest of us have ever met. Her father looks right through me like I don't exist, talking about how nice their home is in Texas and how lovely it is down there and it's so warm and there's a comfortable spot and an extra bedroom. And he completely ignores me and proceeds to invite the stranger sitting next to me to come visit them in Texas. I'm in shock. I sit there reminding myself over and over, it's her special day, it's her special day, it's her special day. And I remain poised and calm, trying to love and accept myself. I think about my younger self. She could never have imagined feeling as blessed and fulfilled as I did when I lay next to my sweet partner the night before, snuggling in our little loft bed that we called the nest, comfortably enveloped in her loving arms. I take a breath, and I loosen my hold on the steak knife I didn't realize I had been gripping so hard. I'm 44, and I moved to New York City with my girlfriend. I attend the Dyke March every year. Hundreds gathering at Bryant Park become a multitude, and we take over the streets without a permit. Every year, I play percussion, the women leading the march. We are shoulder to shoulder, dancing, shouting down Fifth Avenue, proud lesbians. I also attend the Michigan Women's Music Festival. One year, there are 30,000 women, mostly lesbians, mostly naked. Yeah, you heard that right. 30,000 naked lesbians. The first time I attend, I am completely dumbfounded. I'm gaping open. I've seen maybe 60 girls in gym class every year in high school and college, and they're mostly white, and other than my mother, they're all around my age, and that's it. At the festival, I am surrounded by celebration and diversity. My first festival, I just watch. I can't hardly move. Women are stunningly gorgeous, skinny and huge. Some are young, others are scarred from mastectomies, hairy, they have lumps and bumps, and none of it is airbrushed. I see one woman with a breast with a little teen nipple on the side like this, and then on the other side, she's got this great big breast like this with a big nipple on the other. Spending a week in the woods with my lover, and let me reiterate in case nobody heard me, 30,000 naked lesbians. Drumming, dancing, singing, naked, mostly naked, it blows my mind. I had no idea that women's bodies were so diverse. And I'm naked. I'm with them. I'm in front of all the other women. And I feel free. Oh, yes. It's 1999, and on my way to an annual celebration I look forward to all year long, a party, especially for Orthodox Jewish women who are attracted to other women. Sponsored by the Ortho Dykes, and playfully named Shadel Stock. You know, the shadel, the wig that married women wear, like Woodstock, Shadel Stock. They wear it to cover up their hair. Every year, I anticipate being with a whole room full of Orthodox, sneaking secretly away from their cloistered homes downtown to a great big rented room where the lights are low and the music blasting. This is supposed to be my first time packing a dildo, that is. Tonight, I'm feeling good in my male body, and convincing, too, in my genuine Air Force flight suit with a neck-to-crotch zipper pulled down to show off my naked, hairy chest. Plus, I have my scroofy little mustache, all created by gluing on my just-trimmed pubic hairs. Totally realistic. I'm feeling good when I get on the subway. The train door closes. I sit. I glance down at my body and, oh shit, I forgot my dildo. Oh, Jesus, I can't believe, how could I forget this? What a stupid idiot. I can't believe this. I don't have enough time to go back. Should I get off? Should I go back down if I have to go down the steps? Okay, no, just go. You're going to be late. It's more important to be on time. I enter the space, decorated with the crepe paper streamers like a cheesy senior prom. I spot a cute younger woman dressed like all the others in a dark mid-calf skirt and a blouse modestly covering her elbows. I ask her to dance. She nods shyly and follows me to the very edge of the dance floor, barely moving to the music. "I've never danced with anyone in public before," she whispers. I reassure her that this is not exactly public, but nevertheless, I can feel that she doesn't want to move to the music. She's too nervous, and her movements remain careful and tentative. Wow, I think this is like some serious-ass religious programming. I mean, not being able to dance with your partner in public, this is like my favorite thing to do. Every time I approach, each woman says yes, so I know they want to dance, and with me. But their bodies are so controlled, so stiff, not at all like how I dance, which I admit is like a wild man. I try to tone down my usual abandon so as not to intimidate, but even my limited gyrations seem huge in comparison. I walk over to the drink table to quench my thirst, and that's where I hear it. "Is that really a guy?" "I don't know." "I don't think so." Wow. I find out that this question is going around the room like the old telephone game. Wow, I think cockily. I am convincing. But I feel somehow incomplete, like literally emasculated without my strap on, and I regret not going home to get it. I want a slow dance. I want to rub my hard cock up against some cute Orthodox woman's thigh. No, not tonight, Josephinowitz. I guess I'll have to just wait till next year's edition of Shadelstock. Oh, and next year, I'm going to put a big sign on the inside of my door so I won't forget. Don't forget the dildo. I often wonder who I would be, like what my sexuality, my gender orientation would be like had I not been my father's daughter. The Me Too movement has made it apparent how many of us have been abused or sexualized, sometimes for generations. And it makes us wonder about our pure sexual nature. What would it have been like had we not had these experiences, especially at a young age? So many of us are questioning, wondering, parsing out what is authentic in ourselves and what is created by circumstance. It's scary to confront these issues because we don't really know who we are. We blame others, we blame ourselves, we feel guilty and angry and label our feelings as sick or distorted. I wonder how much of my masculine self was created by this dynamic with my father and how much is innate. I always thought that being raped was the worst thing that could possibly happen to me, that I'd never survive it. I think back to a beautiful moonlit August evening at the Michigan Women's Music Festival. I stroll half-clothed with my lover in the misty rain, walking barefoot through a forest. It's the dark of night, and we walk hand in hand through fragrant trees with the sounds of women drumming in the distance. I realize I feel totally and completely safe, and that I have never felt this feeling before. But when I go back to DC, I'm stalked by a man who lives in my building. He leaves me notes telling me he loves me and wants to kill me. He breaks into my car, slashes my tires, incessantly calls my workplace. He even pretends to be a customer. I can't leave my apartment. I'm terrified he might be right outside the door. The cops do nothing. Do I have to wait till he attacks me before you can do something? Yes, they say. Men expose themselves to me, harass me on the street. I fight back. I'd rather die than kowtow. I grab bottles and break them, and I throw them against windows of leering, screaming men. I carry a gravity knife, and I whip it out at a moment's notice. I jump on top of cars pretending to be insane. One night, I'm standing on a busy corner after meetings and rehearsals, waiting for a cab. I've got my favorite briefcase and bags filled with several changes of fancy clothes, jewelry, and all my keys. It seems like every car that passes by is harassing me. Then a group of young men cross the street and surround me, saying things like, "I want to fuck you in the ass, bitch," and "I'm going to eat your pussy." I have had it. I drop everything, I stand my ground, I raise my fists, and I look at the last offender, who is very tall. Before I know it, he punches me in the face really hard, and then all of a sudden they grab my shit and they go running off into the streets, and I run after them, and I'm running and running, but they're fast and they're kids, and they run like rats down a sewer. But one day, I trap an exhibitionist with his pants down with my car against a wall. The grill is pressing against his knees, and my foot is on the gas pedal. I calmly roll down the window. "Hey, I have 2,000 pounds of pressure under my foot here. Should I press harder?" I press harder. I'm 53 years old, and after years of working for myself, I'm cheated by a client and suddenly my business fails. I'm panicked. I send out 1,000 resumes to carefully targeted jobs all over the country. I get a total of 2 interviews. No one will hire me, a woman of a certain age, who's overqualified, and then you're underqualified, and then you've worked for yourself and you won't work with a team, and blah, blah, blah. I'm without work. I can't pay my rent and deeply in debt. A friend suggests massage, sensual massage. I'm a lesbian. I can't do that. But as the weeks roll by with no one hiring and literally only $1 in my pocket, I reconsider. Well, I'm older. I can handle myself better around men now, and because I'm 53, they're not harassing me on the street anymore. My friend helps me with the process of vetting to make sure I don't get hurt. I'm strong, really good with my hands, experienced, and I'm told, a beautiful lover. I decide that if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to offer sensual massage, then I'm going to give it my all. I'll use all of my lovemaking skills that I've learned with women to treat my male clients to the best possible experience imaginable. And I'm going to do it with a loving intention. On the days leading up to my first session, there are moments when I feel truly terrified. And then, a few moments later, I feel myself feeling excited at the thought of dressing up in my sexy attire. By using some skills I have in acting class, I make believe that I've done sensual massage like a bazillion times before. The fateful day arrives, and I have to get ready for my first session. I pretend to myself that I know exactly what I'm doing. And I chant, and I pray, and I sage the room. I remind myself of my holy intention, and at the same time, I allow myself to include feeling sexy in my body as part of that holiness. I enjoy the feeling of my breasts pushed together in a lacy bra. It reminds me of all the times I felt so sexy and had so much fun stripping for my female lovers. When my client arrives, I smile genuinely, and lo and behold, I managed to convince not only him, but me, that I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm emanating a loving, healing intention. I'm totally focused, and I see my client drinking it in. The session has such a positive effect. And we both walk away feeling amazing. And I make good money. As I work and see more clients, I realize how vulnerable men are. So many of them are overwhelmed with their lives. They work until they drop. They carry 3 or 4 phones that never stop ringing. They have no time for relaxation. They can't sustain erections. They ejaculate prematurely. They don't have a clue as to how to please their wives. And they have tiny penises. Like, a lot of them have, like, tiny penises. They want to experience a mixture of appreciation and humiliation for expressing their deeply desired feminine side. My idea of the all-powerful male with a huge weapon in his pants is confronted by the reality of what I see on my table every day. I realize that the facade, the masks that men wear, do not belie what goes on inside. I end up feeling more compassionate towards and more comfortable around men than I have in my entire life, thanks to my experience with my clients. And I feel comfortable and less frightened by men in general. My longtime fear of rape lessens as I develop a more accurate picture of the range of men's experiences. So I branch out into dominatrix work, a natural extension of my private kinky life. Oh, what did you say? My first session? My favorite session? It's 2013 in New York City. I attend Occupy Wall Street on a regular basis, protesting the mortgage scandal, the huge discrepancy of incomes between the rich and everyone else, money in politics, and all the other ills of our corporate capitalist system. As an older white woman, I'm privileged not to personally have had bad interactions with the cops, but I'm not feeling particularly warm about them either, because they abused people of color, refused to help me when I was being stalked, and repeatedly trashed people's tents, made arrests, and confiscated everything the protesters need so they could bring attention to and demand that something be done about the inequities in our society. I get a call for a dom session from a fireman. We talk. I find out he's a former cop. And he still has the uniform. I tell him to come dressed in his full police uniform. He comes to my door, dressed like a cop, from toe to cap. The pleasure that I feel in slapping this man repeatedly across the face into submission, it's immeasurable. And I fucking get paid for it. Nowadays, I feel like a little old lady of yesteryear, witnessing her first Model T Ford. I'm thinking back to an incident that still blows my mind about how life as a queer today is so different from what life was like for me, a lesbian born in 1951. It's the early 80s. I am having a one-night stand with another woman. We're clutching one another in the throes of a passionate embrace. I whisper in her ear softly, "Put your fingers inside me, please." She suddenly stops, pulls herself away, and announces sternly, "You are male identified." As if her fingers were not female and the inside of my body, my pussy, was somehow a male domain and pleasure not my own to enjoy. Fast forward to Park Slope, Brooklyn, just a few years ago, I see an advertisement for a class. How to suck non-bio cock. Wow, we've come a long way, baby. Oh, okay, you might ask, how can you compare a class in sucking non-bio cock to the Model T, something that was so revolutionary and world-changing? Instead, shouldn't you be talking about gay marriage or the Trevor Project or some other issues that affect and challenge our community? But I think it is revolutionary. It exemplifies how far we've come in accepting our bodies and owning our desires, whatever they may be. And it demonstrates our willingness to learn and grow and express ourselves and to accept others' bodies and desires and expressions. Yes, the Model T changed transportation and how we navigate in the world. But after all, what have we got to be proud of? What does it mean to be incarnated into flesh if we don't love and enjoy the temple of our own body? The body, the one thing we always have as we move through time and space. However we choose to transform it or express ourselves through it. the endless majesty of our creativity and imagination. Growing up, I felt so confused. But as an adult, having sat behind the wheel of both the Model T and the non-bio cock, it's become clearer to me. I feel both male and female, not androgynous, but both sexes. Depending on my mood, I have sex as a male or a female, and I need my partners to understand and appreciate whichever me is the me I feel at any given moment. Usually it's a big turn-on and adds lots of very spicy fun, and believe it or not, I can actually feel my male part, and I'm very good at using it. Recently, I did a photo shoot where I was dressed in drag. I was feeling fabulous and, most importantly, feeling myself. After the photo shoot, all done up as my male self, I really did not want to change back. I felt so over-the-top sexy. I want to go out and mingle, but it's Thursday night in Kingston, New York, so where can I go? Nowhere. So I just keep taking selfies. I'm handsome, I'm kind of cute. With the accepting encouragement of my lovers, I enjoy and love my female and feminine self and my male and masculine self more and more and more. I strip from my partners as a woman, I strip from my partner as a man, and either way, simply put, yo, I'm hot. I mean, if you've got it, flaunt it, right? It's just not about just being sexy, but it's also feeling right in my body, about actually being in my body. Truth is, I feel sexy either way, and I'm learning to love my feminine self, the self I rejected for so long. One thing I learned from the 60s is that the personal is political, and that limiting any one of us affects all of us, limits all of us. So you might be wondering, am I a lesbian? Am I bisexual? Am I transgender? Gosh, you know what? I'm 68 years old now, and I don't know what to call myself. The fact is, I'm learning about myself every day, including right now. Maybe I don't need a label. For me, doing drag is transformation. It's fun. It's expressing one of the many aspects of my authentic self. Today, I'm feeling gender fluid, enjoying my male self, enjoying my female self. Maybe being a man or a woman is not about limitations or labels, about limiting what is acceptable or fitting into whatever somebody else wants, but more about exploring, discovering, and expressing oneself completely. Maybe it's about loving who we are in any given moment, about being in the moment, in the truth of that moment. Maybe it's all the way you look at yourself, feeling good in your body no matter what your body is, and being who you are. The horizon is open and wide. I study shamanism and also wood carving with a master Native American carver. I create a mask from a dream representing my higher self. And then I inhabit that mask. I start journeying, and when I do, I experience my spiritual body shifting. Experimenting for Halloween, I dress up as I feel myself during my journeys. And while I'm in that costume, I feel somehow at home. Right. The more I journey and experiment, the more I realize the fluid nature of my spiritual body and my physical body too, where I feel both male and female. Over the years, I've developed a connection with a spirit guide who I clearly envision, and that relationship grows and changes as she teaches me. She communicates with the birds. I always see her up and to my right in the ether, standing proud in the middle of a drum circle, surrounded by a group of seated male dancers. She wears a simple white hand-woven cloth dress and a red circular belt that's tied loosely around her waist. She moves slowly to the music in a circular fashion with arms high and hands open. I see her flowing black hair. Way above in her sky, there's always a flock of birds. I thought at first that she was controlling them, but it's more like she's communicating with them, sensing the birds with her palms, and part of her spirit goes out through her palms, and then she receives the flight of the birds. When I'm dancing and praying and chanting and playing my shakers and drum circles, I allow the rhythms to enter my body. And at a certain point, when the music gets very intense and I'm dancing so hard and I almost drop to the ground in complete exhaustion, often at that moment, something inside me shifts and everything goes quiet and I feel my body changing into a bird. I feel my shoulders and arms transform into strong, dark, feathered wings with light tips. I always feel the same self as the bird. I'm always in the same place. I fly and I see this huge canyon, not as big as the Grand Canyon, but like that. It's open and sandy. I fly freely in the open sky and I swoop in curved, carved out edges of the canyon and I soar over a large green meadow at the base of the canyon. It's very beautiful and serene and quiet. Maybe I'm one of the birds that my spirit guide communicates with, but I always travel alone. When I dance and chant, I guess that's what is called speaking in tongues. I know you all probably have like a lot of opinions about people who speak in tongues, but all I know is that I've developed a chant that feels like I'm speaking a language that exists or existed, and that I'm discovering it as I chant. I have no idea if what I chant are nonsense syllables. I have no idea if what I see and experience is real or not. I know that probably nobody besides a master would know, but for some reason, I sing this song. Hey, you know what? I'm shape-shifting, traveling back in time, back to tell that little cowgirl that it's all going to work out fine. Flying to my 7-year-old self, that little girl, To that little Judy who loved her football uniform and red cowboy boots. The little girl who played sports better than the boys. The little girl who felt weird in her own body. I go back to you, little girl, little Judy, with your youthful desire, traveling back in time to tell you, my young, erotic, queer, lesbian self, those feelings, those smells, the utter delight in giggles, in fingertips, in the beauty of another girl. It's pure, it's beautiful. Don't be ashamed. Time traveling, shape shifting back to my teenage self, the girl alone with no one to talk to, no one to confide in, who wished upon a star night after night after night. Starlight, star bright, for star, see the night, the wish I may, wish I might have this wish I wish tonight. Wish I was no longer a lesbian. I go back to you and I have this wish for you. I hold you. Come. Right now, let's look up at the sky together and make a new wish, and I promise you it comes through. You will be loved over and over again. Brilliant, wonderful, funny, delightful, sexy, beautiful. Women will love you like crazy. I travel back to my 13-year-old self dancing as you were surrounded by kids laughing, mocking. You heard my voice. It was me telling you that if you don't keep dancing, you might never get up to dance again, encouraging you to be your wild, crazy self. I'm so proud of you. I honor your deep inner listening and your strength. I travel back to you, my 14-year-old self, as you kneel in the basement with that black-handled dagger in your hands. I cup you in my heart, and I whisper in your ear, soon you will celebrate your secret love. I go back, I tell you, thousands will cheer as you march through the streets, shoulder to shoulder with your sisters, making music, shaking your booty. You will be proud of who you are. I gather you in my eagle wings, show you beyond a shadow of a doubt, time traveling, swooping over a fairyland, the forest with 30,000 other women, mostly lesbian, mostly naked. Do you see yourself? You are among them, dancing. I travel to you, my 17-year-old self, reassuring you that threats of detention centers as punishment for desire won't happen. I hold you, comfort you in that terror. I pull you next to my heart and whisper, one day you will not have to lie or deny who you are at your very core, ever. One day you will be your truthful, authentic self. I travel back to you with some great advice. People will be cruel and you will survive. We swoop down together to watch the look of disgust where the words, and what do you want to do to other girls anyway? It never happens. I lift that social worker up with my talons. We fly into the current era of feminism and sex positivity and encourage you to pursue your truth. I tell you, love is love. I fly into that psychiatrist's office as he interprets your dreams of mastering horses. He reinterprets that dream, telling you, you will become the master of your own life. I'm hovering there with you in that moment as you place your hand on the doorknob to leave for college. I change his words and don't make any friends, assuring you, make many, many friends. Women will march with you, shoulder to shoulder, surround you with love your whole life. You will feel his blessing wash over you like a wave of love, a golden light of support as you open the door to a new life. I show you movies and books and pictures of women with women and men with men and all kinds of people loving freely, living together, being open. You won't have to hide in the darkness of fear of being outed. I am with you, my sweet girl, and I say to you, you are beautiful and fun and smart and intuitive. wild and free, and no one's judgment will hurt you, because I am here to fulfill an authentic wish of being loved. I am here to protect you, always, no matter the pain. I will protect you. Thank you. Thank you.